Morning, everyone out there. Okay, I just want to bring to you a few words from the throne of God. Do you remember David and Shemaiah in the Bible? Yes, actually, that's the point we are going to be bringing to you. That's where we are landing. Okay, but before we get there, before we go into scriptures, let me just give a little bit of introduction. Okay, so life doesn't actually treat everyone the same way, and for majority of people, if you ask them, they would say their quotation about life isn't fair. Okay, so very few will tell you, oh, life has been blissful and all of that. But even for those ones, get to hear another side of the story. It will not be as encouraging and as enviable as the life blissfulness talk. Okay, so you actually calculate how things would go with your life. You estimate, okay, you make projections into your future, and you put things in place. You plot your graph, you make sure that everything is put in place to ensure that what you projected about your life, what you planned about your life gets to be realized. But unfortunately, you're where you plan to be. You have come of age, and you are thinking that you are supposed to be there, but you are not there. Okay, the speculations and the ambitions are not realizable. They have not been realized right now. Okay, the analogy is you are meant to be a bird with wings, strong bird, capable bird. Okay, with strong wings, and then your bird is supposed to be up there in the sky, flying amongst other big birds, okay, other capable birds, okay, rubbing shoulders with those that you're supposed to rub shoulders with. Um, but that's not where you are. You are right now at the valley. You're experiencing a valley experience, valley turn moments. Okay, life hasn't treated you fair. So the way you have plotted your graph and planned your life is not how it has turned out to be. So right now, you have found yourself dwelling amongst chicken. Yes, amongst chicken. Okay, if there is actually a better way to put it, if there is a little advancement to the state you are right now, to the position you are right now. Okay, let us say you are dwelling amongst birds, and birds, young birds, immature birds, that though they have feathers, but they have not been able to train their feathers, they have not been able to utilize the capacity and ability to fly, to soar. So that's where you are right now. But you are yet a bird, but you are rubbing shoulders with chicken and baby birds and immature birds, and these ones are actually not trying to make things easy for you. They are not placing you at the status you actually deserve. Okay, they are not trying to give you any respect. They are not trying to give you any benefits of the doubt. Okay, they want to actually rub it into you that this is how it is. Okay, you get what you deserve. Okay, you may be a king in your right. You feel you're supposed to be a bird flying up there in the sky, but right now you are amongst us, you are with us in our jungle, so you have to live a life of the jungle experience. You don't um, So now these guys down there, they are not trying to make things easy for you. Okay, they are not even trying to hype you, and they are not trying to make you feel good about yourself. Okay, as far as they are concerned, actually you are getting just what you deserve. Oh yes, you may actually be the cause of your problem. That's what they are saying. So they just let you know that it is what it is. You get what you deserve. Okay, and it's not funny. It's not funny. You're already having wounds to lick, and these people are pouring acid upon your injury. You know how very, very, very terrible that feeling can be. Okay, so this draws us to the story of David and Shemaiah. Okay, that is taken from the book of Second King. Okay, chapter 16, taking it from 5 to 13, thereabout. Okay, remember David? Yes, David was a man after God's own heart. David had faults. He wasn't actually supposed to be called perfect. Well, he had outright weakness, character weaknesses. There so many terrible sins could be attributed to David's life, but he was actually still called a man after God's own heart. He bore that title. Yes, till date we still call him with that. We still know him and refer him with that title. Okay, that actually was because of the kind of heart he had and his disposition through all the calamities and the troubles that came his way. Oh yes, the ones he caused by his own self, but with his own hands. Okay, at this point in time, he was going through a trying moment. He had to face various battles at various points in life. Okay, and this very battle was the most cruel kind of battle. Okay, it was the most traumatizing because his son Absalom was the one that was fighting the father, and was the one that came against the father like an enemy. Was the one that had made himself a fool, to his father. He was trying to dethrone David and take over his seat, and then he had to make David go through severe humiliation. Okay, and then actually that was the kind of prophecy being fulfilled. Yes, and because of David's sin and all of that. Okay, and David was running from his life. David was actually on an exile journey. Okay, and along the way he met a young man from the household of Saul. This young man was named Shemaiah, and this young man came at David, taunting him, insulting him, further humiliating him, pouring acid on his already burning injury, and making David feel the pains of what he was going through. Okay, the reality of his situation, and telling David that David was getting what he deserved, that David was actually being visited with all of the blood he has shed in Saul's household. Okay, and he kept insulting David, he kept taunting David, and even saying David was going to get so much more than he was already getting. And you could imagine the chattering of the men and loyal men with David, and the mighty men with David, men of valor that could actually fight. They were soldiers, ever ready soldiers. They were angry and they wanted to charge at this man and just deal with him like he is a very small match. Would have just been an easy fight, an easy win. Just throw him to one side and end his life there. But they needed permission from their master. They asked David, and David, would you keep looking on why this young man, man of no worth, pour insults on you and ridicule you and humiliate you, okay, and defame your character? But David's response was just leave him alone. I know what I am experiencing has been brought on me by God. Okay, so God, who has deemed it fit to treat me this way, okay, to take me through this experience, to lead me through this valley, and to allow all of these things come upon me, all of this misfortune come upon me, all of these persecutions and humiliations come upon me. It's okay to acknowledge that this one also is from God. This one is the hand of God also. So why do I reduce the texture and the quality of what God is bringing to me, of God's dealings upon my life, whether unpalatable or unfair? Why do I reduce it? Why do I try an easy way out? Why do I even think of wanting to use my own strength and to reduce the texture and the quality of God's ugly and harrowing dealings upon my life? Let me just go through it. Let me just go through it without cutting corners. Let me just allow God to fulfill all of his intentions in my life. Yes, right now I will not call it good intentions. I will not call it goodwill. But all the same, whether good or not good, whether pleasant or not, they are God's intentions about my life, because I have committed my life into God's hand. I have released my battles, my fights into God's hand. Everything regarding me, my stay on earth, I am just but a living sacrifice. Oh yes, if I am alive and walking upon the face of earth, it is for the glory of God. Yes, it is just at God's demands, at God's commands, and whatever comes my way is from the Lord. Okay, and I release it unto the Lord. And that was David's stance, and really that has always been David's stance through his stay, through his journey on the face of the earth. Okay, so this is actually similar to our own present earthly, state, earthly scenario in life. Okay, the analogy I painted about many individuals who actually are meant to be up there soaring, okay, like eagles up there in the sky. Okay, but right now they are at the lowest platform in life. Okay, they are being humiliated because the position life has thrown them, the place life has put them, has placed them, is a far cry from where they are meant to be. And the people they are with actually are not trying to make things better for them. But what are you supposed to do? Learn from David and borrow life lessons from David. Okay, leave your fights into God's hand. Just hand over your fight into God's hand. Just understand that as long as you know that you have repented of every sin, okay, it could actually even be a result of a sin, the punishment of a sin, okay. that you are experiencing, okay, God is dealing with you like you deserve. Well, it could be, that could be the case, okay, but you have already repented of your sin, and then just allow God, allow you go through whatever dealing, whatever punishment is, allow him come your way. If that is the state of heart you are in, okay, and probably you actually have not committed any sin, you have searched your life, you have searched your past, you've had a very, very glorious walk with God, you have always crossed your T's and dotted your I's, and you have a right standing with God. You know, you cannot trace and figure out why this is happening to you. You have been the best Christian over time. You have been perfect in your dealings with God and with man. You have served faithfully in God's vineyard. Okay, you have been a man of integrity and honesty. But then life has still not been fair to you. So you can't even say you are being dealt, in a hard way because you deserve it. Okay, but all the same, I need you to just release yourself into God's hand. I need you to just humble yourself before God, humble yourself, onto his mighty hands, his mighty hands of dealing. Just lay prostrate at his feet and just ask him to continue dealing with you as he deems fit. It's hard. It's hard actually to ask God to keep dealing with you like he deems fit, because it is not palatable, it is not pleasant. But what then would you do? You want to fight the battle with your hands? You want to heap much more troubles upon the ones that you already carried upon yourself. Okay, because the moment you begin to want to address these battles your own way, you make things worse. Oh yes, you make things worse. Okay, so the best advice any man can give to you is release everything in God's hand, and hand them over to God. Hand your travails over to God. Hand your battles over to God. The only thing you are meant to do is just stay with God. Just stay with God. Just release yourself into God's hand, and just seek to know why you are where you are right now, what he wants to bring out of your life. It could be a training. Oh yes, it could be training you in the aspect of humility, be training you in the aspect of suffering long, having abilities to suffer longer, to bear. Okay, so whatever it is, get to know why you are where you are right now. Get to know the reason why you are experiencing what you are experiencing right now. Get to understand what God wants to teach you through this process, so that you don't suffer and suffer in vain, so that you don't face humiliation and face the humiliation in vain. Okay, so for David, that was his stance, that was the state of his heart, that was the position of his heart, and at the end of the day, God vindicated him. God actually vindicated him, and God gave him more glory. And even Shemaiah was dealt with, in his own coin. Okay, so I entrust you into the hands of God. I entrust you into the care of God. Life is not fair to anybody. That's why it is called life. Oh yes, oh yes. And it happens that way so that we know and desire that better life that is to come. Okay, we always go with this form and consciousness that this world is not our home. We are but pilgrims in this life. So if everything is well and fine, you would actually settle and say, this world is my home. Yes, there is no other home to attain to. There's no other home to aspire to. And then what's of whose would heaven be? Whose would heaven be? Okay, so let's just keep pushing, let's just keep pressing, and then let's just keep fully relying on God at every moment of our life to speak into our situation, to give us a word for every dealing and every situation is allowing us go through. Let him give you a word, and that word will settle it all. Okay, so thank you. Have a nice day. Always remember to have the heart position of David, the heart position of humility, and then frequently living in God's presence and relying on God's instructions for every action. Okay, so thank you. Take care. Have a glorious, blissful, and blessed day.